I have things for you.
I'm working hard,
Got
Captain.
something for me? Sure, go ahead. Bye.
I'm listening.
I certainly do. It's all yours. Talk to you later.
Hey there. I'm up for a little adventure. Captain, landing procedure initiated.
Rise and shine. We've got things to do. Doesn't look like much, but we should certainly have a look around.
Hi. Please disregard.
I hope we don't run into too many of the Crimson Fleet around.
Oh, yeah. There's no certainty to the universe at all. Once you really start getting out there, the laws of physics kind of turn into suggestions.
You're pulling my leg again, right? What's the latest thing you've seen? No exaggerations this time.
Think. Unicorn. Not kidding.
What? The mythical mare with the magic pony thing? Come on. Was King Arthur riding on it too?
Okay, it was more of an extremophile in the vague shape of a horse. But my point still stands. You need an open mind out there. You go into the far reaches of space too tightly wound, your brain is just gonna pop like a soda can. Holy shit. You actually found me.
I wish I could say this is the first time this has happened with Barrett. But, well, it isn't.
Well, this is turning into a regular Constellation party, isn't it? I should have brought drinks. Well, you didn't need to worry too much. Matsura the Grim here is actually a wonderful host.
No reason captivity should be unpleasant.
See, that's what I mean, Matsura. Real considerate.
I have enjoyed our time together, Barrett. But I can't just let you go with nothing to show for it. Is Constellation willing to pay ransom in exchange for this man's freedom? Take your time. You're here to free your friend. You want me to end all this with nothing to show for it? All the more reason I need to make sure I'm compensated. Easy! Maybe this doesn't have to get ugly. A ransom isn't... Enough! I must insist on payment for Barrett's... I don't mind keeping Barrett... You want me to end all... He has been more entertaining than most hostages. Was considering. Barrett has some good friends, it seems. Very well. You're all free to go.
It's been a real pleasure, Matsura. Really. And good luck out there with all the, hurting people and taking their money.
I don't mind keeping Barrett. You want me to end... Was considering. Barrett has some good friends, it seems. Very well. You're all free to go.
It's been a real pleasure, Matsura. Really. And good luck out there with all the, hurting people and taking their money. So, back to the lodge? Honestly, I was kind of rolling the dice with you. But hey, sometimes a bet pays off. Matsur the Grim? Honestly, a pretty nice guy as far as pirates go. Think I butted heads with his mentor once years back. Had the same kind of surprisingly hospitable vibe. Mm-hmm.
He's free to go. I do not encourage you to return.
Got nothing to say to you. I'm better them than me. Let's get out of here. A few more hours?
mind bunking on the ship, but nothing is better than unwinding in your own quarters.
Sorry for the wait, everyone. Got a little held up on Vectera.
Barrett, we were worried sick.
Well, some of us were.
I see what you did there, Walter. And I know you've been secretly crying into your piles of money just waiting for my return.
Actually, Walter has been complaining about you more than usual, which is always a sign when he's worried.
Don't start, Katri.
Wait, is that? And to think the first artifact was taking up dust on the library shelf. Now look at them all.
Andreja!
You feel it a bit, can't
We're
you?
worried.
Ever since I found the second
Was there
one,
concern that I would
had
not
the visions.
contribute to the mission?
Being around them is
Of
just
course not. We thought
comforting.
you might be hurt.
So hey, I'm still not 100%, plus I feel guilty dragging you into all of this. Why don't I stick around and help you get adjusted to the weird corners of the universe? Marvelous. Never mind. Sorry. Thinking of something else. Well, that's all I have too.
Look at you two. I'm jealous. I tried following up on some leads myself, but came back empty-handed. They could be anywhere, can't they? Embedded in a rock, or in the hands of an unsuspecting novelty goods trader? I catch myself just staring at the collection sometimes, wondering what it all means. Maybe that's how our ancestors felt when they were looking up at the stars for the first time.
They didn't just gawk at the stars, Mateo. They explored. They tested. Science brought us to space, not daydreaming.
I disagree. What's the point of science if not to enable humanity's dreams? And where do those dreams come from?
Not every dream is a pleasant one. I agree with Noel. The work is what moves us forward.
You're with me, right? Science or dreams? Which one is the true muse of space exploration? Exactly. We can't forget what really makes us human.
Genes and evolution are what made us human, Mateo. Both of you clearly need to go back to school.
Dreams are common to many animals. What's unique to humans is our grasp of science.
I do not mind being asked to join in a debate. It was good to hear everyone's sides. But I do agree that we accomplished something together. Thank you for your help. I have no objections. Let us see what else we can find out there.
Noel, pulling some interesting data from those new artifacts. Tell the Rook to meet me back on board the station.
Roger that, Vladimir. He's on his way.
Always a satisfying moment to return to your ship.
Star Station LO868. You need the eye? This is Constellation Star Station LO868. Welcome aboard.
Nice clean dock there.
How can I be of service, Captain?
Now that those artifacts aren't just blips of hope in the blackest sea, I found an interesting pattern. The grav anomaly generated by one of those artifacts, it matches one on another planet. A bigger one. Alright, let me transfer over the data. But I need you wearing caution's boots for this one. No telling what this thing is or why it's so large. Going to send you the mark close as I can, but I'm having trouble pinpointing the source. You'll need to explore the area on foot. Put your scanner to work. Don't know what you'll find. Keep your eyes open. You're looking for the eye of the storm. Whole thing is a whirlwind, but getting to the source, need to wear your patience thick.
Weapons locked! Destroy them! I think we had it covered. But I expect some people owe you their lives. Any way we can repay you? Very noble of you. You take care.
Landing struts primed, retros firing.
Here to shoot the breeze?
You need something?
Come on. There are worlds to conquer. If you need to harvest any organic materials, now would be the time.
Your ship is way bigger than Dad's.
Always.
Miss Morgan, I shall be here if you need me.
It's actually comforting to know that, Androsia.
assistance.
The anomaly. It's gigantic. Oh, look at that architecture. Notice how the room is reacting to our presence. Those rings in particular.
was awesome! And I very rarely use that word for anything. We need to get you looked at back at the lodge. When you have a moment, I'd like to speak to you. Thanks for taking time to chat. I really need a friendly ear right about now. I received a message from Constellation, and it's given me a lot to think about. No, it's nothing like that. It's just a list of requests, things I would normally handle if I was there. But I'm not. I'm out here instead with you. You're not keeping me out here. I am. Just... Here, let me explain. Before I joined Constellation, I served for 8 years as the head of the Navigator Corps, until the UC decided to axe the department. Yeah, sure. Some more than others. You see, the top brass demanded press-worthy discoveries to justify the spending, and money was tight after the war. Shutdown was inevitable. At the end of the day, I was in charge, so the blame obviously fell on my shoulders. Yeah? You once told me that you favored the journey over the destination, so I'm hoping you'll understand what I'm trying to say. I failed because I was more concerned about exploring the stars than pushing a pencil. Because of my lack of foresight, all I ended up with was a shuttered division and a bunch of excuses. That's just it, though. Did I push too hard? Did they shut us down because I wasn't quietly sitting at my desk approving meaningless memos? We'll never know. Well, that brings us to this message now, doesn't it? Call it whatever you want. My drive, my initiative, my optimism. It's been my greatest strength and my worst nightmare. It elevates me to these positions of authority, but all I want to do is explore, not sit and make sure all the accounts are balanced. Yes, exactly. If it's obvious to you, imagine how obvious it is to someone like Barrett or Mateo. Oh, they must be itching to replace me by now. God damn it. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. Oh, here you are trying to help me and I'm yelling at you. You have to understand. Once Aja retired, I lost the only person that gave a damn. Look, it's clear that you have feelings for me. It's just... I've never had time for this sort of thing in my life. Please, it's not you. It's me. I'm just not ready to get that close. I can't. Not now. But thank you for being there and listening. It helped. It really did.
we're here, perhaps we should check in with Mateo or Noel.
Crix's bones. Look at you.
If you don't mind, I'm gonna start doing some scans. Like, right now.
We were right about the anomaly, weren't we? Tip our ears on the tail. An entire building generating a signature just like the artifact.
Vladimir, look at these readings. Cardiovascular and neurological levels aren't in the normal range.
I think we're going to need a little demonstration. Mind putting the paces to it? Everyone saw that, right?
Like a literal gift from the heavens.
And also the most practical consequence of our little venture thus far.
Got no old shipwise for this one. Going to just call weird, weird. So we have artifacts, a temple, and this power. All connected.
More questions than answers.
Can we find more of them?
Already picked one up from the scans. Matches another one of the artifacts we found. In theory, there might be one temple for each. But sifting through all the signs to identify a match is tricky. Impossible if we don't have the right artifact to compare. And even then, it takes time. Don't think it's just Fortune's laugh that this temple responded to you. The artifacts, the visions, this power you've gotten, all seems to be the same song somehow. Plenty to think about. Anyway, catch a smile out there. I'll work on finding planet anomalies that match the other artifacts we have.
If you have a moment, I have something I'd like to discuss.
Bet you never expected to end up involved in something like this. This is all exciting, but there's really a lot of pressure on us, isn't there? You and me both. The implications are staggering. Obviously, we don't know anything for certain, at least not yet, but there sure seems to be a connection between these temples and the artifacts. So it would follow that someone or something built them. Both the temples and the artifacts. That alone is huge, isn't it? That might end up being the understatement of all time. But really, we can't get ahead of ourselves. We just need to focus on our next steps. More research, documenting our findings, and not jumping to conclusions, no matter how enticing that might be. Take care of yourself.
I must admit, you've surprised me. I thought you were going to take off as soon as you'd gotten something from us. But I was wrong. I want you for a little soiree I'm planning. It's about an artifact, and our goal is simple. We're going to purchase it. Our seller is a freelance operative in the city of Neon, which means the artifact is almost certainly stolen from someone. I just need a little more presence in the negotiation to show we're serious. And I think you'd be perfect. That settles it, then. We just need to make a few stops when we get to the city, and then the drinks will be on me.
Drinks are on you? Now I'm certain there's something wrong with you, Walter.
It'll be easy, I promise. I'll ride passenger on your ship until we get to Neon. Just let me know when you're ready to set off. To the Volai star system, then. I admit I'm a little excited.
We're going to be visiting the Astral Lab while we're here. I mean, that's a given, right?
Smell that? Construction, incense, industrial chemicals of every kind. But they still can't get rid of the odor of chasm bass. A native species of fish. I often wonder what would have happened if they'd never found out about the psychotropic effects. I mean, on paper, a rich protein source has far more practical value than a recreational drug. But theory loses out once again to practice. Something to do with chasm bass's natural oils, apparently. If you're curious, the name is Aurora. We need to stop by the Stroud-Ekman offices. There are certain authorization procedures when large funds are being transferred, even for something like this.
Looks like some sort of checkpoint ahead. It's probably... See that shroud covering Neon? Believe it or not, you're looking at the only city in the settled systems that powers itself from lightning.
Don't move, Nesha!
What's this about? Cut the act. Sniffers picked up the Aurora you're carrying the second you stepped through.
All right, get up slowly and turn around. Try to run, and we open fire. So, what was the plan, Nesha? Smuggle the Aurora into Aquila City or New Atlantis?
No, I just forgot I was carrying it, is all. Honest mistake, right? Can't we just settle this right here? I can pay the usual.
We don't make the rules. That's Administrator Bayer's job. Now, shut up and start walking.
Move it! Let's go!
Word is, the Borealis, you know
Yonick's
the
gotta come
DJ?
through for me.
Well, she's moping around because she lost something important.
Keep your nose clean. New around here? Make certain, after all, you don't want to end up like Nishar. Certainly. And for your own good, I urge you to listen carefully. First and foremost, the interplanetary transport of Aurora is strictly forbidden. Anyone caught transporting the substance through this checkpoint will be arrested, fined, and jailed if necessary. Good. Then you won't have any problems from me. The other regulation you should be aware of is that Aurora is only available for purchase in the Astral Lounge. Buying it from any other business or a street dealer is illegal. You will be arrested, fined, and jailed for participating in such a transaction. Perfect. All right then, that's it. If you have any additional questions, let me know. Otherwise, keep your nose clean and move along. Aurora is the #1 product produced by Xenofresh Fisheries, the company that originally founded what is now called Neon. Clinical studies sponsored by Xenofresh have proven that using Aurora has no long-term negative health effects, and so it was approved for public use. And before you ask, yes, this was also approved by the Freestar Collective, as long as Aurora stays within the city limits. Stay safe.
Ryujin Industries is looking for the young, bright minds of the future. Apply today at the nearest kiosk.
In other news, on the lifeless planet of Exterra, a mining operation...
Well, with all signs pointing to the Astral Lounge, I suppose we should pay it if it's interesting. This district certainly provides evidence that religion's influence has spread from their tower and out into the city.
We're fully stocked and ready to sell. Welcome to Newell.
Oh, I don't have a problem with this place. My problem is Sigurd himself. That man has absolutely no respect for the business community on Neon. He skips merchant meetings and refuses to participate in any of our group buys. Worst of all, he pays off Neon security to keep his place safe.
Yeah, sure. If all you care about is yourself.
Every payment Sigurd makes validates Neon Security's corruption. He's setting a bad precedent that many merchants are forced to follow.
Anyway, sorry. If you'll forgive the outburst and have a look around, I'm sure you'll find something you might want to buy. Sure, have a look.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'd be extremely helpful. I honestly don't know what to say. Fair enough. Just be careful when you're dealing with Sigurd. He can be surprisingly unreasonable when he's cornered. Tell everyone you know about our store.
Now, James, I don't want you to get upset, but Administrator Bayou came by while you were out.
Oh, yeah? His Majesty decided to come down from his throne and walk amongst us peasants?
He said he wanted to personally thank us for our contributions to the city and hopes for our continued support. I'm sorry.
Our contributions? Those taxes we pay are a sham, so he can line his ivory trade tower with another layer of gold. Makes me sick.
If you have a bit of money to spend, we could really use your business. Welcome to Newell's. Let me know if you need help with anything.
How about that? Someone should really bring it up with the powers that be.
Do I sound that awful? I didn't even realize. Terrible, just terrible. You'll have to excuse me. With all the ruckus my husband's been making at the Merchant Alliance meetings, it's difficult to get any rest. Poor old man has himself mixed up in a foolish crusade against Dietrich Sieghart, who he's angry at for paying off Neon security. I don't believe he is, no. I think my husband has Dietrich all wrong. He's probably doing what he has to do to survive. Just, please don't tell James I said that. I don't want him to think his own wife is doubting him. Well, thank you. I can't remember the last time a total stranger walked into our store and offered to help. It would be so lovely to see my James happy again. He used to smile at me all the time, you know. Now all I see is worry on his face. I suppose you can speak with him about it if you like. But perhaps you'd like to browse our store a bit before you do? Okay, here you are. Have a good day. We're fully stocked on supplies today. Dietrich is actually quite a lovely man, though lately he's been under a lot of pressure, which has made him rather bitter. When we first opened our business here in Akuchi Market, he was actually very helpful. Offered us advice. Didn't treat us like competition at all. I'm sorry, I just don't believe Dietrich is doing anything wrong paying off Neon security. We all do what we have to do to survive in this wretched city. Unfortunately, my husband is convinced that fighting City Hall is the way to solve all of Neon's problems. I think he's wrong. Stop by
I had to
again
chase
soon.
more zone heads out of here today.
Duels Goods has a full line of equipment and accessories. All your hectic
People joke. Save those Baroon zealots.
Yeah? Fine. Yeah? Well, then let me spell it out for you. You either walked into the TA to buy some goods, sell some goods, or have some liberated goods taken off your hands for a reasonable price. So, instead of wasting my time making me explain how the business world works, let's get a move on. Now that's what I'm talking about. We both want to make some money, so... Then here I thought you were...
There's something I need to talk to you about.
Time to move on.
Now that we have a moment, I wanted to ask how you're feeling. After your experience at the temple, you've given everyone at the lodge quite a scare. I find that to be rather surprising. According to what I've heard, your body absorbed an almost unquantifiable amount of energy of a type we can't even begin to understand. We're dealing with something unknown to modern science. Who knows how this encounter has affected your body or your mind? Although I don't know the exact nature of the energy you absorbed, I'm fairly certain it means you no harm. I don't have any scientific data to back that up, so you'll just have to trust my intuition. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Well, good. I'm pleased to hear that. That temple proves we're dealing with entities of unknown origin. The problem is that we can't even begin to guess what their intention was towards us and where they've gone. It's a possibility I've considered, but I'm not 100% convinced. The only thing we can be certain of is that the technology we've encountered points to beings that live outside the settled systems. Perhaps Perhaps that's true, or perhaps you were simply quite lucky. It's just that... Oh, I'm afraid that we're flying almost completely blind here. All we know for certain at this point is that whoever created the artifacts are the same beings that built the temple. Anything else is just guesswork. I might as well put on a blindfold and toss darts at theories written on the wall. Oh, believe me, this is positively exhilarating. Think about the significance of this research. The questions it raises alone are mind-boggling. Who was this wondrous structure built to accommodate? How long ago did these entities inhabit our universe? Are they still out there, somewhere? Yes, exactly. Now you understand why it's imperative that we solve this puzzle. It's funny. I used to think the artifacts were the end-all be-all of scientific discovery, the pinnacle mystery of our time. Never in my wildest dreams did I imagine it would lead to something of this magnitude. I just hope that you'll come through this, whatever it is, unharmed. Well, yes, of course you are. I was speaking of the power you've acquired. This is all scientifically speaking, of course. Look, I've already taken up too much of your time. All I can do is promise that I'm not going to make you deal with this mystery alone. Whatever might be happening, I'll be right here to help you every step of the way.
Clover over at Kelpcorp? She's too good for Neon. Sounds like she's trying to help someone or something. Honestly, kinda tuned her out.
The syndicate's been pretty bold lately.
If Benjamin Bayou's ego was as combustible as helium-3, he'd be able to provide enough fuel to power every ship in the settled systems.
So you can do your banking your own way.
You wanna head to Euphoric? After work tonight?
Nah.
Come on in, please. Have a good look around.
I need a break.
Welcome to Sig Heart's Outfitters. Everything you need to explore the settled systems. If I don't have it, you don't need it.
Great. I'll bring the blend, you bring the chunks.
It's a date.
I can promise you, I'm not just using hyperbole to get your business. I've spent years perfecting my business by polling customers, measuring sales, and carefully adjusting my inventory to cater to just about everyone. So take your time, look around, ask me questions. You won't be disappointed. Am I? Forgive me. I tend to forget how annoying that can be. I have a lot of overhead in this place, and just between you and me, I am up to my eyeballs in debt. This is a prime spot, right next to the spaceport terminal, but the bills and the rent here are astronomical. Sure, and going in, I expected it to be expensive. Anyway, I don't want to bore you with the details of my business all day. You're here to shop. So why don't you help out a poor shopkeeper like myself and buy something? I'm sure we can make... Welcome to Sick Heart's Outfitters. Remember to steer clear of neon security. Hello there. Come back soon. We have plenty of inventory, and if you don't see what you need, feel free to ask. I've been at this location for the last 8 years, but I've had a business in Neon for almost 20. As soon as Ryujin broke ground on the tower, I knew the city would start swarming with people, so I went all in. I love this business. It's my life. I can't imagine doing anything else. Yes, I'm aware of James's objections. That's partly why I don't go to the meetings. But if I don't pay Dexler, I'll lose my business. And what good would joining the Alliance do then? So, really, I don't have a choice here. If they want to fight Neon security, they can. But I need to protect my livelihood. You think I'm okay with it? I would like nothing more than to run my business free of Dexter's thieving. But what power do we really have? If I don't pay Dexter, he'll make sure every gang in the city takes a piece of my stock. You would vouch for them? I suppose if they are willing to pool their resources, or should I say our resources, we would have some leverage. It is not a great deal of leverage, mind you, but with all of us working together, it may be enough. Okay, you've convinced me. I will stop paying Dexler his safety assurance fee. And tell the Newells I will come to the next meeting. Maybe I will even bring some beverages and snacks. You can't stand up to Neon security on an empty stomach.
Ryujin Industries help you get there. Fill out an application.
Be careful.
Equipment and accessories for all your
Feel like making a purchase today? Well, I'll be. And all you had to do was talk to him? I reckon I should have. This whole time I've been so angry at Sigurd for making those payments. I never bothered to ask him why.
What did I tell you? You assume the worst in people and you'll make it so.
I knew when I told you so was coming, but I guess I deserve it. Thanks for your help on this. The Merchants Alliance is finally united. I don't know if we'll ever get a fair shake in the city, but it's a start. Appreciate the help. Hopefully next meeting. Thanks
Now,
for stopping
James,
by our shop.
I don't want you to get upset. Straighter bay you can buy.
Need something? My rating's only 16%. Your safety is almost look at you.
Don't make my job any harder.
I've heard that Benjamin Bayou has a private penthouse at the top of the tower. The view from up there must be breathtaking.
I'm not gonna say this twice.
Stroud Eklund makes some of the finest chips in the settled systems. I'd love to get a look at their operations.
It's all right. I just need to have a short chat with my counterpart. Is she in today?
Yes, allow me to bust you in, sir. You know, Mr. Stroud? You are so lucky.
Walter.
Issa.
Shall we continue from last time? The luxury cruise line market is completely outside of our core competencies. Investing into it is a mistake.
No, I'm here about... Wait a minute, a mistake? Our ship designers are the best in the settled systems.
They design personal craft and military ships, Walter. Large-scale accommodations and hospitality is a completely different beast. Oh, I'm so sorry. Here I am arguing with my partner, and you're just standing right here. Issa Eklund, the hyphenated Eklund in our glorious company's branding. Oh, aren't you lovely? Walter, wherever did you meet your new friend? I'm jealous.
A colleague from Constellation.
Ah, yes, the daring explorers my partner is so infatuated with. You should hear him reciting that speech.
There's no need to go into that.
Oh, my heart skips a beat when he does it. Really, it does. Such passion. If he talked to the board that way, I wouldn't need to placate them so much. Oh, very well. Why don't we discuss why you're here?
It's the discretionary fund, Issa. I need all of it.
Oh, this wouldn't have anything to do with that meeting you've set up at the Astro Lounge, would it?
I never said that. Did you have an agent hack into my files again?
Only after you had one hack into mine. Tell me, can mutual distrust lead to a point where it's actually the same as mutual trust? Oh, don't mind the two of us. Challenging each other intellectually is a cornerstone of our relationship. Now, I must point out the obvious. The Astro Lounge. Huh? It's a remarkably insecure location.
That was the point. Neutral territory in the open.
With no leverage. Oh, you must let me help. It's been too long.
I have this all taken care of.
Some investigation into the cellar. What's motivating them? Then, some preliminary casing of the Astral Lounge for security flaws. Give you the advantage if things go wrong.
Bribe a few bouncers, alter the codes on the doors.
Yes, exactly. I hate being selfish, but I would like some time with my husband. We need to go through the fund authorizations anyway.
James Newell is the broker who knows our seller. He'll be able to help you find out more about them.
And it shouldn't be hard to find the Astral Lounge. Here, let me at least give you some operation funds since I won't be joining you. Meet me back here. I'm going to be present for the negotiation. I'm not leaving you to the Neon Sharks, I promise.
Security's got its eyes on Saburo Okadipo. That guy's trouble for the status quo.
Enhance your life. Here at Enhance. So go out, have your fun, live your
You should have... Hey there. Welcome to Newell's. I'd say the majority of the guards are rotten, and the few who aren't simply take a paycheck and look the other way. They have Neon completely under their control. The Freestar Collective's own security doesn't even maintain a presence here. If it wasn't for the Freestar Rangers outpost, there wouldn't be a shred of justice in this entire city.
I arrived in Neon almost, 20 years ago? I had gotten a job at Xenofresh through a friend and started working on the loading docks. After a few years, they moved me up to Kazanbas processing, and that's where I met Rosa for the first time. She was my supervisor, but we hit it off right away. It wasn't long before we decided to quit Xenofresh, get married, and start our own business. We've been in love ever since. Much better, thanks for asking. I don't exactly know what you said to Dietrich, but he's certainly turned everything around. He's really stepped up and taken an active role in fighting Neon Security's corruption. He's even organizing the merchants' meetings with me. Best of all, I think we've become good friends, which is a rare thing to come across in this city, I can tell you that. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Watch your back out there. If you have a moment, say hello to my wife. Maybe I did. Information isn't usually free. New intel, new transaction. Take it or leave it. All right. Just ease up. Okay. I don't know much, but I did have one of my freelancers tail the seller back to his place. Sleep Crate 1. Let me write down the unit for you.
Now, James, I don't want you to get upset.
For all your hectic needs.
What I don't sell ends up.
So what do you say? Are you ready to feel euphoric?
you've done that before.
Can you believe Xenofresh charges us?
We've got you covered.
You're out there a lot,
Have you
right?
tried one of our advanced seller machines?
What's up?
This Aurora stuff is blowing my mind.
This place is insane!
Yeah, you're new here, aren't you? Name's Boone Morgan, your new best friend on Neon. If you're here for a drink or listen to the music, I've got you covered. But if you're here for something a little more exciting, we have plenty of Aurora for sale. Then what are we waiting for? Let's set you up. Here, take a look at the menu. Now, I'm not going to lie. The Aurora is a bit expensive, but let's face it. Can you really put a price on pleasure? Excellent choice. The Sky Suite offers luxury and sophistication you won't find anywhere else in the settled systems. And since you'll be living in the same tower as the Astral Lounge, all of its pleasures and pageantry are only an elevator away. Of course, the Sky Suite features an open design with an emphasis on luxury. Whether you prefer the morning sky or a neon sunrise, the high ceilings and wall-sized windows will give you a full view of the city's splendor. Come back soon. Welcome to the Astral Lounge. Excellent choice. And since you'll be living in... While your enthusiasm for the property is You can look, but we both know what you're here for. Hope to see you again. So, what'll it be today? The Astral Lounge is one of the safest places in all of Neon. Security is hand-picked from the finest officers in the city. Then I would say you'd be interested in the Astral Lounge VIP package. For a reasonable fee, our security can be your security. We do strive for setting the most reasonable rate. Huh. You work for Stroud Eklund? Well, perhaps something could be arranged. A loss leader. I make you pay less now in the hopes you'll pay more over time. Well, I think we can certainly offer a discounted rate for you, if you were still interested. Excellent. Let me just apply that discount we discussed, and done. We do hope your meeting goes to your satisfaction. Enjoy the lounge.
Yes.
Nothing like some bull run.
Gangs can keep from killing each other. I just might have a good day.
I hope you know what you're doing.
Keep it moving.
Any luck out there? Excellent. Good work. Let's head to the Astral Lounge. Goodbye, my dear. See you at the next board meeting?
Oh, I'll be keeping an eye on this little operation, just in case. Good luck, all of you.
Ever run into spacers?
Hey, you wanna dance?
All right, we're here. Now,
I don't know what the cellar looks like, but they'll have a security briefcase with them. Larger than normal. Big enough to hold the artifact. We should split up. The code phrase to identify yourself as the buyer is Ramsey and Travers.
Code phrases? My goodness, Walter, I think you're taking this espionage business a little too seriously.
Remember, Ramsey and Travers. We'll meet back near the elevator.
See what the big deal is. It's all legal. Oh, I don't see what the big deal is. It's all legal.
And here you are. Well, hello. Didn't expect to see you here. I'm glad at least one of us is having a good time. Your mother found a deal. One hell of a deal. An all-inclusive vacation package to Neon.
It's a retirement present.
And, well, everyone's heard about the Astro Lounge. We're just here for the cocktails.
We are?
Yes, that's it.
Wait, what are you doing here?
Yeah, nothing good happens here. I've been here long enough to know that. Figures. Oh, dear Lord. So, let's pretend this never happened, hmm?
Oh, I do think that would be best, sweetie. Oh, I don't see what the big deal is. It's all legal. Hi, having fun?
Minute. I think that last drink was stronger than I thought.
That's what you said, 2 drinks.
Take it easy.
Like getting zoned? I got what you need. Hope to see you again.
Oh, I don't see what the big deal is. It's all legal.
What a great night!
The music is amazing!
Go and get yourself a drink. It's time to party.
over in Louisiana keeps demanding we look into her husband's murder. Murder. Yeah, right. Hysterical old broad.
Easy money.
My time.
Yes? Well? Not that it's any of your business, but yes. I'm the administrator of Neon. Actually, there are a lot of perks that come with the job. But do you want to know my favorite? One snap of my finger and people who ask too many questions get thrown off of the upper platform. I love that one. I wouldn't normally bother with idle chatter, but that's such a ridiculous question. I don't own Neon. Neon is the property of Xenofresh Fisheries, of which I just happen to be the CEO and the major majority stakeholder. Now, if you'd care to take a moment to dissect that next time, don't bother me unless it's important.
This is murder! You're on your own!
Next time, don't bother me unless it's important.
Feeling the music?
Hey, you wanna dance?
Hey! Having fun? Say, kid. That's right. The Mickey Caviar is in the market for a job, and you look like someone who could use a great ship's cook. What do you say? I deserve better.
Take it easy.
Hey, enjoy yourself! You
deal is. It's all legal.
Hey there.
Hey! Hi! Having fun? Hey there!
Take it easy.
This is amazing!
I'm feeling a little. Some food and caffeine in my system too.
The music is amazing!
This place is insane!
Excuse me. It never fails. Every time we go out, I end up taking care of something.
Can you believe this place?
Nothing like this is amazing!
The seller is wearing a Slayton Aerospace service pin. Remember, you're representing all of us.
Hey there!
What a great night!
Hey there. This Aurora stuff, it's blowing my mind.
I can't hear myself. Hey, enjoy yourself! Hi. Hell of a party, right?
Hey yeah! This is awesome! Live it up!
Hey, you wanna dance? This Aurora stuff is blowing my mind. The music's so good.
Hey yeah! This is awesome!
Don't try that. You good? Big mistake.
Next time, don't bother me unless it's important.
What are you looking at?
What? This is amazing!
Hey there!
Hell of a party, right?
I can't hear myself think!
What's up?
Can you believe this place? Huh? You have to speak up.
Hello. I'm looking to join a crew. Any opening?
Can I get you something? We have plenty of Aurora on hand for your enjoyment. Enjoy the lounge.
Howdy.
Take it easy.
What is it? Can't you see I'm busy drinking? Something you need? It's worth exactly 0 credits, same as my career. Never heard of you. Excuse me. Something you need? Oh, really? I heard you all have a meeting in a few minutes, don't you? In one of those fancy VIP lounges? Speaking of which, I gotta get going myself. Excuse me.
Hey! You wanna dance?
I just saw our seller walk by. Good job. That's not surprising. This is a deal over stolen property, after all. Anything could go wrong. Now, before we head in there, let me go over the ground rules. He'll ask for twice what we agreed on. That's normal. He'll probably try to walk out. That's normal, too. Don't worry about the amount we actually settle on. The Stroud-Eklund Discretionary Fund is just a chip to you and me. Our goal is to get him to accept that chip in exchange for the artifact. Anything goes as long as it's in our hands, and we're not dead. How does that sound? That's why you're here. Hopefully our combined countenance will be enough, but grabbing the artifact and running is an option. Just do me a favor and treat it as a last resort. I have a reputation.
So you're Stroud. You look different in person.
Our public relations always insists on doing some touch-ups for the official photos. Embarrassing, really.
Your security here going to stand or sit for this little meeting, making me nervous. So polite. Almost makes me forget what planet I'm on.
Am I to assume that briefcase has our item of interest?
Yeah, here it is.
Well, look at that.
One of a kind, and I know you want it.
I have the amount we agreed on.
Things have changed. I want double.
Now, how am I supposed to do that?
I don't know, but your security here seems to have some fancy gear. Why don't they chip in? Oh, really? And how do you know that? Who talked?
Does it matter? We know you're in a fix, and we're still willing to buy. For the agreed-upon amount.
I got people after me, okay? I can't just settle on what we agreed on. I need more so I can disappear.
That's not our problem. We came here expecting one amount. Now you want another.
You telling me Walter Stroud ain't got the cash? I'll walk out of this booth right now. I leave now. I can get a jump start on the people after me, instead of you all wasting my time.
You'd be on your way already if you just take the money I'm offering you and shut up. What's it going to be? Take or walk?
All right, you win. Hand over the money. This thing is all yours.
I have something I need to discuss.
Well done. Some high-pressure tactics, but we got what we were after. Time to go home, shall we? We have it. You're doing Constellation proud.
Stop right there. You're in possession of Slayton Aerospace property.
Ah, Slayton must have been the original owner. We don't need to do this. All's fair on Neon. Am I right?
Hand over Mr. Slayton's property. Now. It's my employer's property. That's all I need to know. You gonna make me shoot you? I think we can work something out. I really hope so. Huh. All right. But Nicholas Slayton isn't a man you want after you. Good luck with that.
Sending armed men into the Astral Lounge. Slayton must be serious about getting the artifact back. We'd better get off the planet quickly.
I have an important personal decision to make, but I need to discuss something with you first. Phew, thank you. So, where to start? Before I was with the Navigator Corps, I was career military, part of the United Colonies Navy. When the Colony War broke out, I was posted as the chief navigator on a warship, the Dauntless. Plenty. And that's what's weighing on my mind. There was a particularly bloody battle. We were fighting over a world in the Eta Cassiopeia system. Worst fighting I'd ever seen. We lost 12 ships that day. 12. Including my own. I'm well aware how many lives were lost. Now let me finish. The ship was barely intact. The captain and first mate died the previous day, which put me in command. A shrewd captain would have called for the crew to abandon ship. But I was so angry. I wanted to stay. I needed to fight. The Dauntless was a tough little ship. No shields and the hull was breached, but it still had power. And weapons. That's why I remained in the battle. Huge mistake. I believe you. But you haven't heard the worst of this. We fought for hours, but the damage was fatal. I gave the order to abandon ship and the crew piled into the escape shuttle. As the shuttle launched, I could see it was damaged. I heard screams before the radio cut. The last thing I saw, they were spiraling helplessly towards the planet's surface. There was nothing I could do. Thank you. But condolences can't reverse what I've done. I was caught up in the moment. An inexperienced captain making rash decisions that cost people their lives. Yes, they expected to serve on the best ships, with the best captains. The crew of the Dauntless had to settle for me. When the dust settled, the United Colonies gave me a medal. Can you believe that? A damn medal. I never even had a chance to find the shuttle wreckage and give my crew a proper burial. That's true, but still, it doesn't erase the real issue here. Remember when you said no one but me would have pushed harder to keep the Navigator core going? Well, this time, pushing too hard cost lives. Don't you get it? Everything I do, everything I touch, somehow falls apart. That's why I'm worried about us. After everything you've heard, all my stories, you still have faith. No one's ever cared about me this much. Not even Aja. You know, I've spent a lot of time thinking about us, about our relationship, how we've clearly become close. I practiced what I was going to say when the moment was right, and now that it's here, my mind's gone blank. Look, you deserve the best. Someone who can give themselves to you entirely. But right now, I have too much baggage. Too much on my mind. I hope you'll forgive me for pushing you away. I just need time.
Frank Rennick's all in a twist because his robot got vandalized. We had a good laugh about it back at the station.
Ace, something's gone wrong, hasn't it?
Slayton has put a bounty on your heads. He's greased a few palms. Your ship's been impounded at the spaceport.
There goes our way out. The CEO of Slayton Aerospace. They're a systems manufacturer. Engines, thrusters. The same way everything works on Neon. Money. It's terrible at keeping secrets. Yes, I'm fully aware this has not gone according to plan.
Slayton Aerospace has offices here in the trade tower. If Nicholas is moving this quickly, he must be there or close by.
Let's head to their lobby, shall we? See if we can make an appointment.
Hey there.
I'll be making some calls. See if I can't lend a hand.
Don't go causing trouble.
Welcome to Slayton Aerospace. Can I help you? I'm afraid Mr. Slayton is a very busy man. I think we can work something out. Maybe I can see if he has just a moment. Oh, I think we can make an exception in your case. Mr. Slayton will see you. Just use the elevator.
Wait. This clearly isn't the executive level. He's on to us.
Walter, taking what's mine and then breaking into my office. A bold move, but one easily countered.
Oh, we're trapped.
Hello, Walter, dear, are you there?
Issa?
Took longer than I'd like, but I managed to pay off one of Slayton's security consultants. They've patched me in.
All right, we've got her out. Once the door's open, just follow her instructions, okay? Well, if my wife and I could gallantly offer your majesty a rescue from certain death, let's go.
Doors will open in 3, 2, 1. Slayton's guards and employees are all over. Be careful. Okay. You'll want to use the vent system to slip around unnoticed. There's a cupboard just to the right of the elevator you came in on. That's the elevator you came in on. Jump right across the top of it and keep going to the end. Drop down and follow the conduit all the way to the end, past the fork. There's a vent above you. Just climb up. The room below you is clear. Down. Stop. One of the doors leads you right into the open. I'm unlocking a safe route. Opening the door on your right. Go now.
Must be too tired.
Head left, but don't go through the door at the end yet. There's a robot stalking the hall. Wait. It's walking down the hall. Go now, straight across to the door. Keep going all the way to the end. the room up ahead. Closing the shutters. Another robot up ahead. Wait for it to pass, then head straight across to the maintenance door next to the security gate. Go now. Let me just get that for you. Security is on full alert. Go now, straight across to the door. Keep going, all the way to the end.
Take it!
Wait, there's people in the room up ahead. Closing the shutters.
I think I might be a little tired.
Another robot up ahead. Wait for it to pass, then head straight across to the maintenance door next to the security gate. Go now. Let me just get that for you. Go now, straight across to the door. Keep going, all the way to the end. Wait, there's people in the room up ahead. Closing the shutters. Another robot up ahead. Wait for it to pass, then head straight across to the maintenance door next to the security gate. Now! Let me just get that for you. You know the routine. Up the vent. It's a short one, I promise. Almost there. Door on the right. There's the door. It should take you outside.
Outside? You expect us to climb up the trade tower?
There's a series of catwalks that lead directly up one floor to the executive level.
Well, I guess after you.
Open fire!
Well, I suppose they're not going to need it anymore.
You're coming in just behind the executive elevators. I'll call the one on the far end, and you can walk right over the top.
You know, it's moments like this that really makes Neon the best place to do business. You steal what's mine. I trap you in the city. You infiltrate my office. I lock it down. Where else can you match wits for the highest stakes but here? You have what's mine. I, indirectly, have what's yours. We are at a stalemate. Although I do count a few more guns on my side. You do make a bold point, but that doesn't resolve our current dilemma.
Perhaps I can help. We're both people of business, Nicholas. In the same industry, no less.
Yes, I'm beginning to see the opportunity. There is, however, one final detail to disclose. Mr. Musgrove, my former employee, and the thief responsible for our serendipitous meeting, was caught prior to your arrival. I think it would cement our new partnership if you were to decide on his sentence yourselves. If you wish, you will have the opportunity to tell him yourself, shortly.
He's a thief, and you're going to let him go. That's preposterous.
My security brought Musgrove to my office. I'm sure seeing you again will be a fine conclusion to your previous business.
Just let him go. No sense in more violence. We have an opportunity to spare a man's life. I know he probably wouldn't do the same for us, but that shouldn't matter.
Oh no. You. Slayton really does have a sick sense of humor. Please, I was just trying to sell a product, okay? Isn't that why we're all here?
Be lenient. We were taking advantage of his initiative, after all, even if we have found ourselves working with the man he stole from.
Thank you.
You have no idea how lucky you are, Musgrove. If it was up to me, I'd have fed you to the wolves.
A rare moment of compassion for this city. Very well. I'll clear things up with the authorities. You're free to go.
Time to go. Let's talk more back at the...
You're coming in just behind the executive elevators. I'll call the one on the far end, and you can walk right over the top.
You know, it's moments like this. You steal. You have what's... Although...
Perhaps I can help.
Yes. Mr. Musgrove, I think. I yield to your judgment. You've more than proven yourself capable.
I trust that you're not seriously considering...
My security brought Musgrove. You know, it's moment. You have what's... Although...
Perhaps I can help.
Yes, Mr. Musgrove. I think. If that is your decision, you need only tell him yourself.
It's a smart decision. One that I fully...
My security.
We have an opportunity to spare a man's life. That shouldn't...
Oh, no. Please, I was just trying to sell...
Be lenient. We were taking advantage.
Thank you.
You have no idea how lucky you are, Musgrove. If it was up to me, I'd have fed you to the wolves.
A rare moment of compassion for this city. Very well. I'll clear things up with the authorities. You're free to go.
Time to go. Let's talk more back at the ship.
This was a good meeting. Very productive. Get them!
Bring it on.
Let's do this. If that was... not, there must be something they don't want us to find.
time for you.
Get going. Mr. Slayton is done with you. You don't belong. Not today, then. Don't push your luck.
I got my own things to do.
You're not worthy. Get out.
Oh. That lock didn't last very long.
You're lucky I'm busy. I don't have time for you.
Have a nice day.
I heard there's shortages over at Reliant Medical. Not great. Doc Matt's
Distinct coffee flavors, all through.
Rather be doing this than getting mixed up with the game.
See that shroud covering Neon? Believe it or not, You're looking at the only city in the settled systems that powers itself from lightning. Should I warm up the engines?
Hey, good to see you.
A deal with a man who wanted us dead. I guess we can call that a win. What do you think? Thank you. I guess. Some people call Issa a jewel, but she's more than that to me.
Dad,
I can't
can
really
I have a
describe
pet?
it. A pet? There's me.
We live
and
on
her,
a starship, Cora.
and
Pets
us.
starships don't always mix
And
up
I
well.
wouldn't trade the us for all the credits in Neon.
Please.
Oh, that's a
I need
surprise.
somebody to talk
That's
to
one
while
of the
I'm on the
sweetest
ship by
things
myself.
I've ever heard you say, Walter.
All in all, a great success. Thank you for allowing me to tag along with Constellation's newest star. Yes, I used a pun. Forgive me.
When you get a moment, can we talk?
I must confess, the hum of a grav drive makes me feel alive. Where to begin? That temple? The hell was that? I've been from one end of the settled systems to the other more times than I could count. But I've never, and I mean never, encountered something like that. Who built it? Why? So many questions. That's a good word for it. And what you can do? I am not a scientist, not in the least. But that ability, power, it's just plain scientifically impossible. Okay, just don't say that back at the lodge. Some of them will blow a gasket if you suggested that. Forget about me, how are you? I mean, whatever happened, it could have deep physiological effects. I hope not mental. And even if everything's perfect, still, I can't imagine what's going through your head. You. Same old you. The other Constellation members are gonna lose their minds once they hear about this. Assuming they even believe us.
A deal with a man who wanted us dead. I guess we can call that a win. What do you think? Thank you, I guess. Some people call Issa a jewel, but she's more than that to me. I can't really describe it. There's a me, and a her,
Hey, Dad.
and
Wanna hear a
an
poem I
us.
wrote? It's
And I
called a
wouldn't trade the
haiku.
us for all
I
the
just read
credits
about
in Neon.
Well, there's a surprise. That's one of the sweetest things I've ever heard you say, Walter.
All in all, a great success. Thank you for allowing me to tag along with
Starships
Constellation's
fly there
newest
like
star.
Carrying us.
Yes, I used a
copy down
pun.
You know
Forgive
how
me.
those things. I still don't know
Yeah, the
how
way
you
you
lost that
handle
picture of
things.
Nibbles the comet-eating bun.
Bad. Not bad.
Hello.
Up and away.
Nothing like hitting orbit.
You hold something you have no right to. My people have killed for this. But I will offer you one chance to hand over the artifact and turn away from this path.
Oh, that's not any type of ship I recognize.
You see much. But our ship is created from a power beyond your understanding. Its semblance to your own vessels only aids us in masking our presence. We are the Starborn, and you are unworthy to possess the artifacts.
Excuse me. On whose authority do you get to decide whether we're worthy or not?
Tell us, please. What are the artifacts? What are they for? Did you make them? What gives you more right to them than humanity?
Answering your questions is exactly what we cannot allow. Abandon your thirst for knowledge, or drown in it. We are growing impatient. Cease your attempts to stall for time.
But you speak our language.
We know everything about you. That is why your kind cannot have the artifact. The more you understand, the more damage you will do.
How could just knowing what you are be dangerous?
Our distance from you is the whole point. We interfere now because we must.
I'm not liking what I'm seeing on the scans. Energy output from that ship is far above the normal range. If we spin up the grav drive now, we have a chance. You really want to risk a straight fight with an enemy we know nothing about? We need to regroup. Bide our time.
We can wait no longer.
Out of here!
Prepare yourselves for oblivion. You do not understand what you have done. You should have surrendered the artifact when you had the chance. The Starboard will be hunting you now. Give up your search for answers. Become as dust. You have made your choice. We will take the artifact by force. The Starboard will be hunting you now. Give up your search for answers. You have made
miserable down here. Ooh, how can these workers stand the smell of rotten fish and goodness knows what else?